Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Type 1 Thursday with me, Hanna, one of the founders of the Low Carb Universe. And we, of course, organize Europe's truly healthy, 100% healthy, and real food events. But that's not what we're here to talk to you about today. Today, it is, of course, another episode of Type 1 Thursday, where we discuss all things type 1 diabetes and low carb and healthy food and healthy eating and all of that stuff that may not be talked about as much in other places. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's do it. I am a type 1 diabetic since 34 years this year, which is yay, alive and stuff. But today I will be sharing with you how to navigate restaurants and eating outside of your home with type 1 diabetes and how to maintain normal glycemic blood sugar levels throughout this. And do stay tuned because I will be revealing my top 6 tips on how to actually make this happen properly after a bit of an introduction and stuff like that. And of course, why are normal blood sugars so important? This is, I don't know, like the 13th video I think I'm making in this series. So if you watched any of my previous stuff, I think you know why normal blood sugars are so important. And so also, of course, when you are either treating yourself or don't have another option but to eat at a restaurant where it is more difficult to figure out what they have added to your meal, which you may not have added at home. So yes, healthy normal blood sugars, all diabetics are deserve them. All diabetics should strive for them, and we should not be content and happy with anything else but normal levels. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to my guns, and that's why I'm making all of these videos. And of course, why it is so important is, of course, that you have to, well, I'm assuming if you're anything like me, you want to live a long, happy, healthy life with diabetes, despite diabetes, thriving in your life, and then normal blood sugars will keep you there for longer. So, let's just keep that as a baseline. I am very, very happy now because this wasn't the case before, but healthier options at restaurants are becoming more available, more readily available. Just things like, for example, a big, normally very pasta-driven chain has recently brought out zoodles as an option, and that is great, of course, for us who are trying to mind our glucose and trying to mind the sugar intake in our foods. So yes, for example, there's a lot more vegetables on the menus. There's a lot more that you can get sauces on the side and no one looks at you weirdly. You can substitute a lot of the sides with vegetables and no one looks at you weirdly. And side salad is a huge thing, which you can also, of course, when you are fueled by other things but sugar in your body, then you can have that too without a problem and not feel deprived or anything. So there are 3 things, first of all, when you go to a restaurant that is important. That is, of course, as always, no matter if you're home at a restaurant, but 1, focus on the protein. 2, vegetables, which can be subbed, they can be changed. So they, all the pasta, rice, potatoes, fries, all of these things that don't leave you feeling your absolute best when you eat at a restaurant, substitute them for different types of vegetables. Here is a great tip actually that I found out a couple of years ago, is that when you look at a restaurant menu and you see, let's take an example, it is a sirloin with mashed potatoes. You're like, okay, well, the mashed potatoes aren't great for me. So, but I see here with the salmon on this menu, you serve asparagus. Do you think I could sub the mashed potatoes for the asparagus, for example? So check what they have on the menu otherwise in other dishes and what type of vegetables they have there, and maybe you can find your favorite there or something that is at least better for you than the mashed potatoes that are currently being offered. And of course, then number 3 is keep all or most sauces on the side. Make sure that you get the sauce in a little cup on the side so that you can first of all taste how much sugar there's in there. Even if someone tells you that oh no, it's completely sugar-free, there's no sugar, you can taste it very quickly, and you can make your choices after that. And so make sure that you ask for the sauce on the side. Easy restaurants to go to when you are minding your sugar intake and you do not have the metabolic capability of breaking these things down as effectively as maybe other people do. This includes, but are not limited to, for example, steakhouses, burger places. Seriously, burgers without buns with all the good cheese and bacon and maybe an egg on top and then a side salad, you're gonna be full for hours. Like when your friends who ate a normal burger menu start like going, I could go for like a coffee and a cake, just fueling up again, you're like, still a full. I am winning at this game. Also, Italian places are fantastic for low carb. You wouldn't think it, but very, very little of the Italian cuisine is actually pasta, pizza, all these doughy, heavy things. It's more like fresh meats, fish, seafood, and a lot of vegetables. Italians eat a lot of vegetables and the yummy, yummy olive oil, of course. And that is a great tip for if you are out and about and see an Italian restaurant. If it is authentic enough, of course, and haven't zoomed in on the sort of pizza thing, because then, you can just scrape off the toppings, but it's not a great experience for anyone. So let's not go there. You can also go to, of course, salad bars. That's a given. You can go to deli places, maybe somewhere that makes like sandwiches, and you can ask to have the sandwich fillings on a salad or on a plate instead. Brazilian steakhouses are fantastic. Like you won't be lacking protein after going to a Brazilian steakhouse, I can assure you that. French places are great, not as much bread as you would think. Also Greek places, fantastic. All the Mediterranean really. Greek, Italian, Spanish, of course, with all the tapas, is fantastic. And then of course Italian, as I mentioned before. Mexican is also surprisingly good. Because there you, of course, for example, you can have things like fajitas without the bread and the beans and all this stuff and the rice. And you can have, all of these things that are really, really yummy that people don't quite realize are yummy because they cover it up with all these carbolicious, carby things so that they don't actually get the flavor of the real thing, which is the protein, of course. Even sushi places actually are quite great for low carb because, and bear with me, you can have a few edamames and you can have a whole plate of yummy, yummy sashimi, which is of course the sushi without the rice. So as if you're minding your sugar intake, don't despair if you only have a sushi place at hand. There's always things that you can do. And I've seen now actually sushi places who make rice out of cauliflower rice. There is one place, for example, in Stockholm, so I think it's spreading too, and this trend of maybe not wanting sugary rice is becoming bigger and bigger. All right, so I promise you my 6 top tips on how to manage a restaurant visit with type 1 and wanting to keep your blood sugars at a normal level, because this is what we're striving for, as I said before. Number 1, if you can, do research the menu online so that you know what you're handling. You can already make a couple of choices. You can have an overview of what they actually have. You can check the starters, the mains, the desserts, but seriously, don't have too much hope on the dessert because you probably won't find much, apart from maybe a cheese platter, which also is a fantastic dessert. Anyway, research the menu online. This also helps you if you are a bit conscious about your spending. This also helps you to calculate what you can do with that. Number 2, of course, stay away from the starches. If you get offered a bread basket and you know you can't resist it, ask them to take it away. Make sure that your dish does not contain rice, pasta, potatoes, fries, mashes, all of these things, if you know you can't navigate around them. And I'm not saying that you always have to be 100%. You do what works for you. And if tasting a bit of these things works for you, then God, keep at it, do that. But if you know that you can't keep away from them, then make sure you sub them from the beginning. Number 3, which I already mentioned in the beginning, but it's very, very important. Focus on the protein and the vegetables. Like, that is the easiest thing that you can do. Even at a restaurant or at home or anywhere you are. If you've been invited to a dinner somewhere at a friend's place, that is sometimes a little bit tricky, but always focus on the protein and the vegetables, and then don't pay so much attention in your own mind. Of course, this is as much a mind game for you as anyone else, but don't pay attention to the things that you can't have. Pay attention to the things that you can have. Take this as a positive thing, and that you are doing something good for you, your body, and your health, because you want to stay healthy for as long as you, of course, possibly can. Number 4, which is something I I struggle with this one a lot. In the beginning, when I first went low carb, I'm like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, just bring this and this and whatever. I'll just like take everything out of it, and it's fine, But no. Actually, the proper way of doing it is dare to ask. Make sure that you do find the option that works the best for you, because no one else is going to be looking out for you. So dare to ask. Oh, what do you put in that sauce? Oh, is this gluten-free? If gluten is a problem for you. Oh, is this sugar-free? And wait staff should know this, and if they don't, they are very welcome to run back to the kitchen and check with them, with their colleagues back there. But it's really important for you to know what the food that you eat actually contains. Oh, is this thing breaded? Oh, do you have breadcrumbs in your Parmesan melanzane? There are so many ways of cooking food that should be free food, but there are so many ways, as I said, and not everyone does it the same way. So dare to ask. In the same example as I mentioned before, if you see a vegetable in some other dish, maybe they're willing to swap that for the thing that you don't want in the dish that you want, or with the protein that you have chosen. That is really a very good tip. Dare to ask, what's in your food? How can you swap it? What can you do to make this work for you? Because at the end of the day, at a restaurant, you are a paying customer, and restaurants in general would very much want happy, healthy customers that keep talking about their wonderful establishment and the fantastic service that they got, and will very rarely be snorky about your dietary restrictions, because they want repeat customers too. All right, number 5. You know what? If it doesn't go perfectly fine, if something goes wrong, like you have a glass of wine too many than you expected, or if you're eating a bit more of this starch than you expected, or than you calculated for, just don't panic. It's all right. Like, you're not going to die from screwing it up once, but it is a learning curve. So don't panic. Make sure that you write it at the back of your head, so that you know till next time what not to do and what didn't work for you, and so that you can promote the things that do work for you, and that leaves you feeling the healthiest, best version of yourself. And then number 6, which is actually something that I did for myself in the beginning of this. Now it's just, second nature. But in the beginning, I made every restaurant menu a game for myself. So everywhere I went, whether it was Chinese, that is a tricky one though, because they mix everything in sauces. Anyway, or a pizza place, or Italian, or burgers, or whatever. Wherever I saw a menu, I made it into a game for myself to make a nourishing, sustainable dish for myself from any menu. So that is my tip number 6. Make it a game. Oh, what could I eat at this restaurant? Aha, okay, but if I sub that with that I see here on the menu, and then instead of that, I will add that. Then I get a meal that works for me and leaves me healthy, happy, and feeling fantastic even after my restaurant visit. Those were my quick tips for you. Actually, let's call it the little guide of eating at restaurants with type 1 diabetes. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and please do make sure that you like it, subscribe it, share it with everyone that you know. And also, I want to know from you what your best restaurant tips are with type 1, or even without, if you're just minding your sugar intake. What are the best tips that you have figured out, that you've seen someone else do, that you've heard someone else do? Share them with me in a comment, and I'll be happy to chat with you there. Until next time.